and welcome to Book 101 Review. Book 101 is all about the books that I read for the last 40 years. And today I have my special guest. She is a spiritual speaker, cancer survivor, a guide to alternative healing wisdom, as well as an author and the author of the book, My Twin Flame Journey of a Separation, Surrender, and Release. No other than Miss VC Pete.
Hello there.
Welcome to Book 101, Miss VC, and can you please introduce more about yourself?
Well, I am a 3-year breast cancer survivor. I participate in mud runs for breast cancer. This is my first book, My Twin Flame Journey of Separation, Surrender, and Release. And I'm ready to release my next book on August 19th. And so it is Healing Sacred Wounds while Reclaiming My Power. So I had a large business at one time, and I've stepped back. I'm focusing fully on my divine path at this time.
Divine Fat. And we salute you for doing that, Miss BC, and thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. How do you define the twin flame relationship, and how is it different from a soulmate or karmic connection?
Well, a soulmate connection usually is an easy connection. A twin flame, the way I describe it is with soulmate, if you had a quilt with 100 squares on the quilt, those 100 squares are typically your soulmates. Soulmates can be friends, family, even animals. However, a twin flame was created with the same energy at the same moment. It's a quilt square torn in two. And so basically, they're here to be your catalyst to help you go through soul lessons. And I've had my fair share. And so there with my twin flame, there was telepathy. There is very similar wounding, childhood wounding, adult trauma, and very similar situations. And so, twin flames, there is divine feminine and divine masculine energies. It's not gender based. At one time, I was heavily in my masculine energy when I was running my large business. And basically, you can look at masculine energies and feminine energies such as intuition versus logic. So for me, I was very logical, and now after a few years, I am definitely in my divine feminine energy. I'm not as harsh as I once was, and I just I can sense when I meet people if usually if they're in their masculine or feminine energies. They are here though to serve, to to make you basically you feel it, and everything that they trigger within you is like basically you are sent into trigger after trigger after trigger with them. So it can be a romantic connection, not necessarily. Mine was business and romantic.
Romantic indeed. And Miss Visi, what signs help you recognize this was a twin flame journey rather than just intense romantic relationship?
Well, for one time, basically, I was looking at him directly in the eyes. It felt like my eyes were being sucked into his eyes. And it is like you can't hardly get close enough to them. And then when I realized that we had so many similarities, even down to we're both green eyed, and I had to go through hard times to get out of the constant triggers. Triggers are not anxiety, depression, anything like that. You feel like you're in the pits of hell and you are trying to claw your way back out of it. And so what he did, he activated within me all of this spiritual information, and I struggle to know what to do with it. When you're in the middle of this, no one understands the pain that you are internally going through. And traditional therapy didn't help me, but plant medicine did. I have participated in 9 ayahuasca journeys, 8 mushroom journeys, and I use marijuana, and I've cut back a lot on that. However, what has happened with those journeys, it opened up my third eye. I use crystals. I manifest and release during moon cycles. And so, and a lot of times, one of the twin flames is deeply religious. And then for me, I'm highly spiritual. I'm not religious, but God is first and foremost in my life. That is what this journey has done. And I had my childhood wounding was abandonment, rejection, and self worth. And through plant medicine that I've actively participated since 2021, it has allowed me to mostly heal those wounds. A few short years ago, I wouldn't have been able to do this because of the constant triggers. So, my purpose, part of my soul purpose, and that is part of this journey too. We are here and being activated at this time to into our soul mission. So, part of my soul mission are these books. Part of my soul mission is to help others understand unconditional love is what has allowed me to become that divine feminine.
Why do you believe twin flame unions often involve periods of separation?
Because they are a catalyst. It's for us to work on ourselves. And it took me a long time to finally love myself. And I now am hoping that I can help others that have been very similar. It doesn't have to be a twin flame that goes through this. So many people have these wounds from childhood. And I grew up in an abusive household. I didn't suffer any abuse, but my mother and brother did. And so when you don't deal with these traumas when you are younger, they're going to sneak up on you when you're in your 30s, 40s, and 50s. And so my journey started how it started. I had a fall. I passed out in the shower. I had been married almost 25 years at that point in time. And I fell, hit face first, and that changed everything for me. I went to doctors, nothing was wrong. But within a few short months, I connected with my twin flame who was involved with my business. And when you have that connection, there is nothing like it in this world. I've been involved with many men along the way, and for me, I have been unable to replicate anything like that. There's mirroring twin flames too, and when that twin flame pulls away in separation, what happens is if you do your work, there is usually someone else in your soul group that is a soul aspect of the twin flame. And that twin flame mirror allows you to concentrate on your lessons and successfully graduate. And that's what happened for me. And that they can trigger you just like the twin does. So there's a lot of variations of soulmate, soul group, twin flame mirroring, twin flame soul aspects out there. And the way I describe soul aspects, if you think of a baseball team, to me the pitcher and the catcher are two of the most important positions. Well, that basically those soul aspects carry different amounts of the higher self. And so I have been fortunate enough to come in contact with two of my soul aspects and three of my twin flame, he and his soul aspects. There's not a certain quota. Part of those soul aspects may not be here. They may be on the other side at this time. They could be on a different realm, different planet that has life out there. So I have been very blessed. And part of this, I ground as often as I can. And use of crystals has definitely helped me along the way to become who I've become.
Miss Vici, what was the most painful part of your separation and how did you cope?
I I didn't think I was going to make it out of it. Um, I could not function. I could not quit crying. It was horrible, and it was I basically had to find something other than traditional therapy. It wasn't working. My twin flame had mentioned the word ayahuasca to me at one time. I didn't know anything about it. And when I started doing research on ayahuasca and plant medicine, I wanted to attend. I was scared and it tastes horrible. However, what happened that first journey, the first night, I was catapulted into the universe. I saw colors that do not have names, beyond fractal images. And the next journey, and it takes about usually a couple of hours for it to affect you. It works with the pineal gland that we have, and it activates visions. And the next day, what happened? I was upside down on the cross. And I received the message, all is forgiven. I've received messages that I am pure, I am love, and I'm a healer. So I can actually send distant healing energy to people. It's been felt 600 miles away. And I clear energies. I've cleared them from a home. Um, and I'm definitely surrounded by my angel team and divine. I've been protected. I shouldn't be here, but I am. And when I was diagnosed with breast cancer 3.5 years ago, I was really scared. Within 3 days, I accepted that diagnosis. It was very severe. It was highly aggressive. It was a stage 2A clinical and B pathological because the cells, the way they were. And within 77 days of this, from the mammogram until I completed radiation, 77 days, that's all I had. And I've been clear ever since then. The problem is, what ended up happening is that I ended up $134,500 in medical debt. I was devastated. I didn't know how on earth I was going to get on through this. I leaned on God heavily during this time. And I work in the medical administrative field, and I'm very knowledgeable, but I chose the wrong medical plan. So basically, I had some surplus from my business and selling my mother's estate. So I have been able to uncover from all of it except about $26,000. And for me, now I look at it as a gift because I hope to inspire others in similar situations. You can get through this. A lot of prayer, but you can, and you just have to fully trust in divine. I never had anger or denial. And so, there's been so many things that have happened along this journey, things that were devastating, and I have pulled myself out of basically all of it.
Very well said, Miss Vissy. Very well said.
Thank you.
As a spiritual speaker, cancer survivor, and a guide to alternative healing wisdom, as well as an author, what are your short term and long term goals?
Well, short term this year, I am actually going to start my spiritual business. I want to help others. I lay tarot cards, oracle cards. I work with pendulum. And so I want to be able to help others, give them answers. Um, I want to do energetic clearings. I am channeling. I have what's called clair gifts. So clairsentient is my strongest clair gift. So that's that gut feel you get saying, don't go in there or avoid that. And I'm clairaudient, so I hear messages. I'm hoping that my channeling will continue to grow so I can give messages to others that are wanting or needing that. And so long term, I feel like my world is changing, and so speaking, basically, I want to help heal others emotionally, physically, and that's part of what was given to me while at ayahuasca. And so I can send distant Reiki healing. So it's all about the alternative healing methods for me. And a lot of people don't know about all the spiritual modalities. They think that just a regular Western doctor or, they don't realize that there are other things, spiritual, God, Jesus, that you can ask for and help others. So that's my goal. I want to give my gifts to others and help them come into their own.
Good luck to your goals, Miss Vissy, and looking forward for more success.
Thank
And
you.
what would be your piece of advice for those people out there want to be an author or the same like you?
Well, I never saw myself being a writer. I always struggled in English and I never saw me doing this. But what happened through this journey, Divine would not let me sleep. And basically, it was intuitive. It's that deep intuitive feeling that I was supposed to do this. And I had to hire an editor, a self publishing boutique company, and they have helped me to do things that I never saw myself doing, including podcasts. But so I really highly recommend if you are interested in writing a book, honestly, you have got to look at the social media aspects. I'm still working on the other website, and that should be up before the book is out, healingsacredwounds.com. And so you have to, the writing's the easy part, even though it doesn't feel like it. And if you don't feel confident as a writer, an editor is key. Basically, with my second book, the editor returned it to me around December and said, "You've got two books in one." It took me about 2 months to regroup. I didn't know how I was going to do it. However, the end product I'm really proud of. And also, proofreading is very valid because the typesetting, you may miss something. I'm very accurate in what I pick up on. I may not be all the grammar, end all be all, but I can pick up on spelling, extra spaces, things like that. So I highly recommend, because these type of helpers that you hire are worth every dime. So that is my biggest piece of advice.
Thank you for that advice, Miss VC. And can you please recommend a book or books that influence your journey?
Well, Eckhart Tolle, of course, his Power of Now, that was one of the first spiritual books that I picked up. And one of the spiritual mediums that I talk to is called Debbie Spockman. And she has a book called Accepting the Gift, and she has had the gift since she was a child. Sylvia Escalante, she has written a couple of books. She's a fellow twin flame. However, her gifts are so wonderful and deep, and she is beyond basically, I admire her so much. You can find the Enchanted World of Twin Flame. Both her and Debbie Spockman are readers, and so her journey has been deeply spiritual as well. I watched a video. She had a portal form over her, and I mean that's unheard of, in on camera at that time. When I read cards, sometimes there's a lot of orbs in the background with me, and I have video that is crazy. I mean, they just kept coming and coming. Somebody had told me they'd never seen a video with an orb session like that. So, those are three that definitely have impacted me.
Thank you for your recommendations, Miss VC. And before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people. My other podcast, because my abstract essay is already in fifth season, abstract poetry in second season, and my book 101 review in fifth season too. Comedy 101 in second season, and my food 101 in fifth season as well. Geography 101 Geography 101 in fourth season, and my baby podcast is Law 101 and Mental Health 101, Love Letters in its fourth season, and Movie 101 Review and Music 101 in its fourth season as well, and Science 101 and Sex 101 in its first season. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. So, Miss BC, what's one mantra of affirmation that guided you and could help others on this path?
You have to have self love, and I tell myself I am love. Unconditional love, it has to be there. And that is part of my purpose, to help people understand unconditional love. So I'm in the I am presence. So that would be what resonates most with me.
Miss VC Pete, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. So, can you please invite our listeners to support your book, your advocacy, or whatever projects that you're doing right now?
Well, I have the first book, My Twin Flame Journey of Separation, Surrender, and Release, and then Healing Sacred Wounds. So basically, if you are lost trying to find your path and religion is not it, these books are for you.
Yes, people support Miss Busy Pete because if you support her, for sure, more and more and more empowering books like this to come. So, Miss Busy, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Daniel. It's been an honor.
More to come, people. See you soon.